Good morning, Bob.
Morning,
How we doing?
Billy.
Oh, another day in
James.
paradise. Yeah, I know. You owe me a soda, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
how
How's
we
Monday treating you, bro?
how we doing on this lovely Monday?
Hot. It's some bad weather out here in California. We're covered with smoke again, and but as far as trucking goes, we're rolling, man.
Good,
So
good,
yeah,
good. I know that the numbers are still looking good as far as trucking rates go. I'm just checking my volumes here, make sure we're good. Things are good. If you're still out there running spot freight, you should still be making pretty good money. That your statement?
yeah. I feel as if yeah. I mean, I had to book a couple loads this morning. One out of St. Louis for a reefer unit, and I mean, I did really well on his dollar per mile to go up to Minnesota. I think he's at like 750 miles for 32.50 or something like that. So you do the math. I know that's it's over $4.
Yeah.
And then the place I did struggle at, and if you're coming out of the Ontario area, I did notice a decrease in volume. It looks like in that area. I don't know what the real life numbers are going to look like, but I'm interested to see.
Well, let's look at them. So I was kind of scanning this morning a little bit, and what I'm seeing is that capacity is moving out of
I lost
this.
you, Billy.
Oh, can you hear me? I think it's just on your end.
Oh, okay.
Are you there? Okay. So what I'm
Yeah.
seeing is that capacity is actually moving back out of this southeast area here that we were talking about. So
Hmm.
this market once again, and we were talking about it, and just like magic, the Columbia market is now in need of more capacity. So if you were listening to me last week when I said, "Hey, send your trucks over here to the Columbia market because it's looking good. You're going to be in a good situation this week to make some money." And we were talking about Dallas and Houston. They're easing up. Look, the capacity is flooding into this market. Wind gets out, word gets out. Hey, the rates are good here. Either that, or you just have a large pack of trucks running here, and then they're running back over here. Whatever it is, but we're flip flopping. So if you get on the right side of it here, and Alan, I know you can hear me. If you got your truck down here or your trucks, make note of this because you can do pretty good for those trucks you're running down in there. And this would be the mainly dry van freight. But this area has kind of been where a lot of volume is, so we've really been looking at that.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at other areas, this area up in here is always really good. Right around Chicago, the Midwest, you can usually get some pretty good rates. And it's kind of, down here in the Arkansas market, all the way up to St. Louis. Looks like there's a capacity crunch there. So I know you got a truck that runs. Do they run St. Louis or they're Kansas City, aren't they?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
We run a reefer unit out of St. Louis. Yeah.
And what are you seeing over
Uh,
there? Same thing?
dude, I mean, I haven't ever seen a decrease in the rates coming out of St. Louis with this reefer unit.
Yeah. Well,
To Minnesota, $4. To Virginia, Maryland, like $4 to $5. North Carolina, $4. Like if I haven't touched on a load that's going east or north for less than $4.
good. So
So
rates are still up in this area, and this is a good area anyway. Like even when it's bad, this is going to be your best area.
yeah,
There just seems to be a lot of freight, and we'll actually
you still
talk
get
about.
$2.50 in the first quarter in that area on a
Yeah.
mile. So it's
And
not bad.
we're looking at reefers on this one. And what you can see is, there's a need for reefers down here in Fort Worth and Dallas and Houston. So opposite of a dry van. If you are in this area with a reefer, there's going to be money to be made there. If you're in southern Florida, which this is no surprise to anybody, there's not going to be any money for you there. um, Over here, looks like the Roanoke, Richmond market looking good. As far as capacity goes, obviously you don't want to be with the capacity, you want to be against the capacity. So, in the world of reefers, really not a whole lot happening. But if you are in the eastern part of Texas right now, then yeah, you should be getting paid pretty good to do that. And lastly, we like to look at our weighted tender rejection map, which shows us basically the tender rejections based on market size. So the best market right now to be in would be the Memphis market. So if you're in the Memphis market, Tender rejections are high. There's a lot of volume coming out of that market, and you can expect to get paid right here in the Memphis market. So maybe a little bit of a Memphis run up into Harrisburg, PA, that area. That would be a killer run. You're gonna get paid going both directions. So not bad. I mean, we're looks like we're going the opposite direction in some of these markets. We already talked about Houston, Dallas, and then Southern California here, same thing. So just probably a drop in volumes. It don't take much. There's a lot of trucks over here, so and it's barely red. It's just a little bit orange. So they're still good. Really, the big takeaway from this is Houston bad, Memphis good. So if you're in this part with a dry van, you're in a bad shape. If you're in this part with a dry van, you're in good shape. And with that
That
said,
statement you made is mostly true most of the time. I mean, Houston and Texas is such a volatile area; it'll go up and down, just like with the where the capacity is at. You know, it's going to be lower when it's high capacity, and there's not a lot of trucks out of there. You can really make good money, but it's volatile. But that Memphis is always great. It's a great spot to land.
yeah, yeah, Memphis. They call it Freight Alley, right? They do it for a reason because you're looking at a lot of volumes that kind of come out of there, and it's where a lot of the brokerages are kind of based out of. So a lot of
Billy,
volume.
can you bring up a port map?
Oh, what?
A port map
What map?
with a port with the
Oh,
ports, the
port map.
harbors.
Yeah, I can bring up the ports here in a second. Let me do this because we talked about bringing in the weather, and I think it's prudent information to give people.
I agree.
So I
Looks like we
have,
got some systems.
yeah. So this is, I mean, really the only thing that's significant would be down here. Um, this tropical storm Fred that kind of made landfall. Is it still tropical storm? Yeah, it never made it to hurricane status. Tropical storm Fred down there. We got some fire conditions up in here. These fires seem to be quelled pretty good. I mean, there's still some fires running around, but nothing too crazy. Flash flood warnings down here. But for the most part, it looks good, and we can bring in the rain here by clicking on this map. Let's see if it changes anything for us. I'd like to see the rain, and let's maybe look at the weather because that's good. If it loads, it doesn't like to load for me half the time.
You gotta love technology.
Oh, it loads just fine, but when we're streaming, it does quite a bit of lagging on me. But anyway, while we're waiting on that to load, let's touch on some topics here. I brought up a couple. This one here I brought up because I know there's a lot of people out there that like to text and drive or watch your videos and drive, and it's dangerous to do that. And
It
if
really
you
is.
if you happen to get in an accident and somebody dies, you're gonna end up in the same boat as this guy here who got sentenced to 25 years for a fatal crash where he rear-ended another guy.
Well,
Because
look, here's the thing. When we're being when we take our CDL test to get a commercial driver's license, we're essentially signing a paper that says we're a professional driver and we're going to treat it as such. Like you have to, you're accepting any responsibility for any of your errors, and it's more so than just the driver next to you. We're saying that we're going to take responsibility for our actions and try to take some for them. This guy, I mean, clearly he didn't care about what he was doing. It's a pretty scary thing.
it is,
You
I
know.
mean, you get out there on the road and you're driving and you're bored. Don't open YouTube. Don't do that. Wait till you stop and you're in your
No.
sleeper, then watch YouTube. Find some good
I know
music
our
or
videos are very interesting and you guys are trying to chase our freight lanes, but there's no reason to bring our YouTube videos up while you're driving, guys. So you
yeah,
jump
I
in the
don't.
sleeper.
I don't think he was
Be here
watching
for you
Truckin
then
with
too.
Bob. I don't think he was out then. But yeah, I get it. It's tempting, but let's stick to driving. We'll watch the videos on our downtime. We don't
They're
need.
gonna charge him with. I mean, he got homicide years. That's
This is what
it's
he
it's
got.
not just manslaughter at that point.
He got second degree manslaughter, second degree assault, and first degree wanton endangerment in Franklin County. So yeah, he pretty
I'm
much
surprised they still consider that a manslaughter.
second degree
You know,
manslaughter, and then yeah,
I'm sure there was some type of plea agreements that were made, to get to
there
that
was
kind of
he's
scenario.
eligible for parole after 5 years, so he took a plea and pled guilty to everything. but he got sentenced.
Imagine being that trucking company's insurance broker.
Well, I'm sure they got hit with a big suit. I was just reading an article on Warner. They're appealing of, was it 75 or 95 million dollar suit that was against them, and that's why your guys' insurance is so high, is because people like this who get in accidents and they get sued for, they're called nuclear verdicts, where they get sued for 20, 30, 40, 100, 200 million dollars. And the insurance companies end up paying through the nose, and the companies themselves, and it's tough, it's tough, and
Yeah,
so everybody's paying the
somebody's got to
price.
make up that money for them too. So it
Everybody,
raises everybody's premiums. Dude,
everybody's.
look at his every truck's a bigger liability now.
Another thing is we're talking about trucking rates. They're not going down anytime soon, according to this article, based on the simple fact that there is an equipment shortage and a labor shortage. And I would agree that until we fix those two issues, um, and
Premium rates.
yeah, until we fix those two issues, it could definitely just keep the rates high. So, and we're seeing that everywhere. Rates are staying high. Let's see if we got our. Well, it's trying to load here some temps and stuff. We did get the rain up. Mainly here, I won't come back to this, but mainly the weather is not bad. There's some rain across the country, mostly down here in the south. Everything else seems to be hot and dry. So here we go. Now it wants to load. Let's see
Oh,
what it gives us. Everything except what we want. Okay, that's fine. And then my last thing I was going to talk about is, I've been asked multiple times, what are we seeing on prices of trucks here in Idaho? Well, we're seeing the same thing you guys are seeing. High prices. Everything is
oh yeah.
high. It's high everywhere. It's because there's a shortage of labor, there's a shortage of materials, there's a shortage of equipment, and a lot of companies are buying up used trucks because they can't get their hands on new trucks. And yeah, a lot of people are selling their older equipment because the price is
Well,
high.
well, how long last year were you guys on a wait list to grab your brand new trailers?
We ordered a couple trailers last year, and we actually got lucky. We found a couple that a guy fell off of, but we just put ourselves on a list for 5 more trailers, and they won't be available to us until May of next year. So it was a year. We put that in back in May. They're not even taking orders now, so good luck getting a brand new trailer unless you know somebody who knows somebody. You're not getting one. There's just
And the quality used trailers are going for premium prices.
yeah.
So you guys need to be prepared to either invest in a rickety old thing, replace some floors and walls and panels, or pay premium prices.
And they're up right now. I think brand new dry vans are running closer to 40K, and
Yep.
reefers are
That's
way up too. So it's
I have a
just
driver who just told me 40K is what he was quoted out of Arizona.
yeah. Well, I've seen some reasonable prices in the 35K range, but last year you'd be able to buy that same trailer for $29,000, right under 30K. So they're up about 20, 30% all across the board, and old trucks are. And you see record numbers from some of these publicly traded trucking companies like JB Hunt and Swift and Warner and all these
Do
companies,
you feel like
Schneider.
that's where all this equipment's going to? Is these large companies, or do
No,
you think
what's
it's just
happening?
turning into owner ops?
What's happening is exactly what this article is talking about, and that's when you sell your old equipment for new equipment. They're actually making money on the sale, so it's not a loss anymore. It's an actual gain. So it's really raising their numbers up because the same old truck that they were selling for half the price, they're actually making a profit on it now, because the demand's so high. So it's a crazy market, and
Crazy.
it's not just the trucking industry. It's every industry. The trucking industry is just kind of in the same basket as everybody else, where high demand, consumerism is at all time high. There's a labor shortage. There's really just a supply and demand issue, and that's what's causing rates to run up, and that's what's causing equipment prices to run up, and that's what's causing driver wages to run up. It's essentially what's causing everything to run up. So, um,
Well, with fuel
Yeah, fuel's running up. I don't know if that has to do
Well,
with the supply and demand issue. I think it does, considering that now we're asking OPEC to send more oil over to us.
oil,
So
they have to keep our rates up for 2022 with insurance, diesel, equipment prices, and drivers. Those are your four big categories right there. And if it's all up, we're gonna have to see an even larger increase in rates, or trucking companies are just gonna, see smaller profits.
that's it. So I don't know. Trucking markets look good, guys. Everything's good. The freight's kind of moving around with the rates. You should still be averaging $3 a mile. I don't see why you shouldn't be doing that, unless you're just running some obscure lane somewhere that you decided was a good idea. But if you're out there running and you're running 48 or even regional, there's money to be made. Everybody should be doing pretty good. As far as what we're seeing, everybody's doing pretty
Yeah.
good. So, anything you'd like to add, Bob, before we wrap it up for the day? Looks like we're 16 minutes in, so we're pretty much right where we want to
Just
be.
the old famous guys. Be safe out there. Take your time. Put the phone down maybe a little bit. We are getting closer to the holidays. We all know holiday traffic picks up. We're getting closer to the weather. So if you're a driver, keep your eyes on the road so that way you don't end up like that fine gentleman looking at 25 years. But outside of that, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Maybe shoot us a comment. We're here for you guys. We want to know what you guys want to hear about. If you like what you're hearing, or maybe found some of our information useful, let us know.
We're going to be putting out some more videos too, so definitely subscribe to the channel, like our videos so we can get some more viewers in here. We're just firing this thing up, so this is just the beginning of what we're going to be putting out. We're going to put out some more informational videos. I do have one that talks about starting a trucking company. We're going to do some more like that as far as maybe maintenance, buying a truck. There's so many things we can talk about that a lot of you guys would like to hear. But we're also
See,
going to we're going to start
that's the
introducing our
thing
dispatchers.
that Billy has that where me and Billy look like we're in nice offices about right now, but once upon a time we were the guys that had grease behind our ears and all the way up our elbows. So there's
Yep,
probably not
those
a section of a truck that hasn't been touched by this fine gentleman above me or myself for that matter. So
we've
check out
done
some cool content coming your way.
we've done it all. We've rebuilt our own engines, our transmissions, our rear ends. We've pretty much been inside and out of these motors. And as far as mechanics go, I think in order to be a really successful owner operator, you should learn how to work on your truck. So maybe we'll push out some content like that as we get this thing off the ground. I do want to say that I got my precipitation map to load. So here's the rain throughout the country. Nothing major except right down here where Fred kind of came on board. Everywhere else seems to be fine. Just you got to contend with some rain if you're on the East Coast. Other than that, weather looks fine. No tornado watches or anything crazy out there. So, with that said, happy Monday, safe driving. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll push out some more content. We'll talk about the lanes. But the southeast version or the southeast area region over there is going to be where the money is going to be flowing into. So if you're on the East Coast, get your trucks down there, the Georgia markets and the South Carolina markets, and you won't regret it. So with that said, we're going to jump off here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.